Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a new anime that we're watching. We're going to be watching the Saga of Tanya the Evil, and you guys don't know how excited I am to watch this. For people who've been around the channel, or people who've been to the Twitch streams a lot, I am quite a deep historian when it comes to things revolving around the British Empire, and obviously World War One, World War Two have to have quite a big significance when it comes to researching those points. And I am so excited to watch an anime where I can like pick it apart. Like you guys may have, like I said to the Twitch chat a moment ago, I can sort of do it similarity. Jack can say the word for me because I don't know how to fucking say it properly. But I can do that with when martial arts pops up. But obviously, when the fuck does that ever appear on animes? It's sort of like when it's realistic, it's not too much. But with this, a whole anime based on World War One, the Great War, I'm so excited to watch it, break it down, give my thoughts on it, talk about the alternative history and what would work. Oh my god, I am so excited. So with the Twitch family voting for this, I can't be more grateful. So, without waiting anymore, this is going to be us watching. Should I call this Historian Watches Tanya the Evil? Because I don't know, maybe. But you see, I would, but I'm not an historian on general history. It's very much around what the British were involved in, so I don't want to say that because there's going to be a lot of German stuff that pops up and I may not know too much about it. But either way, let's get straight into this. I'm so excited. This is episode 1, season 1 of the Saga of Tanya the Evil. Well, let me just make sure as well for you. Look at that audio. I'm on it, guys. I'm already on it. Look at that. Oh, this is so great. They do. Oh my god, they have the French wearing their blue outfits. Already I'm like, yes. We're 43 seconds in and they've already got the French. They've already like nailed a big part of the history, but this shows you that it should be relatively at the beginning of the war, because the French did change their outfits, change their uniforms at the end of the war. But wow, I love that, because if you guys didn't know, so the French were still in their Napoleonic ways when it came to tactics and warfare. They still believe that you could cover 50 meters in. Was it 20 meters in 2 seconds, or it was 50 meters in 20 seconds? After every single shot that was fired, because muskets take that long to reload. So they would run into machine gun fire quite often, and at the start of the war, they were still wearing their blue with gold stripes. Their officers still had swords. This is really realistic already, and I love it. So we already know it's the Germans fighting the French, which is the setting of the start of the episode. That's great. I love seeing this. It's already more realistic than most war clips and sort of shows that I've seen. Ah, yes. And here comes the anime side, which Lewis guns, waterfall machine guns. Oh, and here is Tanya. That's badass. That noise sound effect sounded great, didn't it? That little. That sounded great.
無駄口を叩く暇があったら生き残るために最善を尽くせ。小隊長殿。我々は軍人だ。上がやれというのであれば
Platoon commander. It's
完
like
成するのみ。
9 years old.
ターニャ・デグレチャフ少尉。砲弾と銃弾の豪雨の中、気高くかけるその姿はまるで戦場の妖精。
Great music as well. Wow. All right, we'll pause it there just to talk about this a little bit. So, what it's World War One is really a little bit more interesting when you talk about the good guys and the bad guys, because which is going to be really interesting to see how this show depicts that, because there's a few people who you can go, they are not the bad guys. For example, the Belgians, they were definitely not the bad guys. The British were, surprisingly, obviously you hear nasty things about the Empire, they were not the bad guys. And the Serbians, obviously, they did everything they could to avoid war. They were not the bad guys. So it's like, but the Germans, it's not like World War II where you can go, okay, they were doing some horrific shit. If you, when it came to their policies as like a nation, it wasn't as horrific as what we associate them with. World War One and World War Two were obviously very different. I mean, some people call it one long war with a 20-year period, but 20-year break period. But the ideology behind what their actions was way less evil as it was in World War Two. Obviously, they did still do some horrific things, like we can talk about what's called like the rape of Belgium, which obviously was used as a lot of propaganda for the West about getting into the war. But obviously, and they obviously still mistreated the Jews, just like the Russians mistreated the Jews in Poland, which was still a thing in World War One as it was World War Two. I mean, in Russia, they with the Jewish people, they said to them, "Oh, you guys can now become officers now." Like, "Oh, we'll let you become officers," but then the soldiers would kill the Jewish officers to blame them for losses in the war. So it's like, but yeah, like, so it's like Belgium, well, obviously the good guys. Germany obviously did the rape of Belgium, which was horrific, but that was the generals doing it, not their policies like how it was in World War Two. So as like a whole nation, can we call the Germans the bad guys? It's like, I mean, they got involved in the war because Austria-Hungary were the bad guys of the war. Obviously, when they sent Serbia a like sort of ultimatum, it was a horrible ultimatum, and Serbia still said yes to avoid war. But they just went to war with them anyway. So, but obviously this already, Tanya the Evil fighting for Germany, already seems like they're going to be pushing the narrative of Germany being that Nazi-ish nation that we see in World War Two, more than how they were in World War One. So I'm intrigued to see how it goes going into it. As I said, you guys are going to get a lot of yapping. You guys are going to get a lot of yapping. from me. I apologize in advance.
帝国、それは
Vast
勝利で
industrial
ある
powers.
と豪語するに足る絶大な国力と軍事力。多数の魔導士と春英の参謀将校を要する彼らは、しかして四方の列強すべてが仮想敵国であった。そのため帝国軍は内戦戦略プラン315
And
を策定。
315.
各方面軍をもって地対戦闘に努めつつ、中央本体の集中的な機動運用により敵をかっこ撃破せんとするはずだった。
Wait, what? Was it the map?
機動運用に
Okay, cool.
地対
I just wanted to check because it looked like they were sending them everywhere, which is true. Really, like the French found it much more easy to defend when the Germans sent their 4th Army from here to Austria because Austria were getting absolutely battered by the Serbians and Russians. So this makes sense. This is what they did. They moved their armies around a lot. So because they were fighting on against the French, helping the Austrians and fighting the Russians and starting the
敵を
war.
かっこ撃破せん
Makes
と
sense.
するはずだった。
Even though it's alternative history with 1924. Fucking hell. Okay. Yeah, World War 1.5.
ライン戦線の状況は
Wow.
中央本体の采配置はどうなってる？
北方からの移動は遅々として進んでおりません。潜伏と鉄道ダイヤの調整もあり、采配置には2週間ほど必要かと。
さらなる戦線交代か。西方工業地帯も危うくなるな。
増援を送ろうにも、本国は戦略予備すら書いており
I'm
ます。
trying so hard not to pause it all the time and rant. I could start talking now.
そもそも協商連合
This episode's going to be like 3 hours
構
long.
成が間違いだったのだ。せめて限定動員にとどめておけば。
共和国に動員の兆しなし。そう判断した上官らを翻意させられなかった我々のミスだ。もはやプラン315は機能していない。地帯防御では間に合わない以上、機動防御線へ移行させるしかなかろう。
ですが、ライン戦線の現状では困難です。消耗した現地部隊の限界を超えているかと。
すでに根こそぎかき集めて予備戦力を用意した。時間稼ぎ程度にはなるだろう。
持つべきものは優秀な同期というわけか。
その発言は時期尚早だな。
何？
報告によれば投入部隊はすでに半数が解けた。ライン戦線はさながら地獄らしい。
Yeah, like with it being 1924, so the war's been going on for 10 years. So I can only assume that it started at the same time it started in real life as it did in the anime. It's
地上二次方向設定
they would not
砲撃術式
have had the supplies nor yeah, just they wouldn't have had the supplies. They wouldn't have had the manpower, anything to go that long.
砲兵隊だ。砲兵隊を叩く。来い、ハラルド。了解。
両5丁直ちに戻れ。我々の任務は側面攻撃による地対戦闘だ。
行かせてください。今が好機なんです。
何が好機だ。戻れ。これは命令だ。
I mean, these guys seem pretty invulnerable. I mean, that girl took a mortar to the face. I'm waiting to see what can actually kill them. They seem pretty invulnerable, don't they?
疲れて喉も通らないな。
無理にでも食え。持たないぞ。
I don't like the art style they've done with that girl's face. I feel like they bullied her a little bit.
202中隊も203中隊も全滅したって。
志願して前線に来たのに、あんな少尉のもとにつかされるとはな。
205第3小隊も小隊長殿がお呼びだ。
我々が本国へ。
強制送還だけで済むのだ。ありがたいと思え。我が軍に命令違反をする士官候補生は必要ない。
あれは砲兵隊を叩こうと。どれだけの歩兵がやられたかご存知でしょう。
言いたいことはそれだけか。軍隊とは組織、組織に必要なのは規則。以上だ。
Just to talk about that. Now this is quite unhistorical, but for obviously I know we're talking about like a 12-year-old wizard mage talking to officer cadets in World War One, which is apparently going on for 10 years already. So I know there's going to be, I know me saying it's unrealistic, I mean it's already an anime. I know it's not meant to be perfect, but I just wanted to point out something here where what made the German army unique in World War One is they actually encouraged officers, generals to work in their free will and do stuff in their own free will. Like obviously we talk about like for example the British would have a higher up command, they'd have an overall plan, everyone would have a plan. In the French, like at the end it was the same. Like even the Russians to an extent, obviously they just had difficulty getting the message across because they didn't have encrypted communication lines. But with yes, and also Dutch Vanderlyn had a plan too. But the Germans were very much like, if you saw an opening, go for it. If you think you can take it, go for it. That's how their officers were trained. Very free will, very and that's what made them so good at mobile warfare, because they didn't mind diverting to get past troops and this, that and the other. They didn't have to wait for orders. They'll do it themselves. And it helped them with mobile warfare, but with trench warfare, defending and this, that and the other, it didn't work. So her obviously saying this army is an organization. Out of every army in the world, the German army never followed that doctrine. Never followed it. Which is interesting. Yeah. Well, you say that they would actually disobey orders. Like, I know obviously the difference between disobeying orders and just doing your own thing. But like, if we look at the start of the war, the first attack that the Germans did against the Russians was a disobeyed order. They said, "Don't attack the Russians. We will hold the line until we deal with the French." And then two generals decided, I think it was Moltke, on the German side, decided to attack. They lost, but with that sort of that attack, but with the eventual start of that conflict, they did the same week they took Tannenberg, which was a huge military success for them. Well, it's different between disobeying their orders and Tanya's orders. Okay. Okay, there we are. That's better.
将軍は志願して前線へ赴いたのです。もとより勝つか死ぬかの選択肢しかありません。
私もクルスト伍長の意見に同意します。勇猛さこそが帝国人の本分であります。
つまり機関らは再び上官の命令に逆らうというのだな。機関らの意思は尊重しよう。だが、ある程度の処罰は覚悟しておけ。
Yeah, that girl on the right, they've butchered her face. Poor girl. She's lovely as well.
セレブリア候補伍長。何か異変でも？
シュワルコフ注意。クレスト伍長
Stop picking on Squishy. Look what they did to her face.
そうか。お前は同期だったな。二人とも本日付で後方に転属だ。
後方ですか？
ああ。今頃は統治下の中で待機している頃だろう。転属はデグレチャフ少尉の愚信によるものだが、両伍長は少尉に盾ついたらしいな。
はい、てっきり厳しい処罰が下るのかと思っていましたが。そっか。
Saga.
安全な後方に送るなんて。
I have now. Again, I know I'm still pausing it a lot, and I do apologize for those because I know in my comment section on YouTube sometimes I do get people saying like I should watch the video more and then talk about it after. But the thing is, if I try that, I will forget. So I do apologize to those who I'm pausing and talking loads and this, that, and the other. I know so obviously some people they want more talking, some people they want less talking. So I do apologize. But what I will say is it's just a really funny story. Like obviously they're sending up flares now, which is really funny because at the first, so what people don't know is the French actually had the largest air force at the start of the war, and also their air force had actually seen combat before, which is really interesting. And what they used to do is they'd fly over and drop flares for their artillery position to then shoot at where they drop the flares. And night fighting is really smart. And the first time it happened, yeah, German soldiers all sat like gathered around. This was obviously before, just before they started trenching in. Flare, white little light comes down from the sky. They all gather around it. They don't know what the fuck it is. They were expecting a bomb and it didn't blow up. It was this bright luminescent white light. What the fuck is this? They all go up to it. They all look around. Yeah, this is really interesting. This, and then suddenly, boom! As French artillery starts shooting at them. Right, Nate.
軍医をまとった以上は祖国に貢献をなす。帝国には無能な兵士を養う余裕などない。
はい。
セレブレ候補部長。
はい。
非常補修だ。
さて、中隊諸君、よろしくない知らせだ。友軍の第403魔導中隊が敵魔導2個中隊と不意遭遇戦に突入。砲兵で敵を叩こうにも観測手の魔導士が狙われ弾着観測ができないそうだ。
敵の観測所狩りですか？
そういえばデグレチャフ少尉は以前北方で経験済みだったな。
はい、二度とごめんですが。
我々は直ちに進発し観測要員を救援する。
I think you looks like in the novel. Okay. Oh, thank you for that, Modin. I'll look at that after.
地帯ならともかく救援は難しいでしょう。
おお、その95式をもってしてもか。
召喚はともかくセレブリャコーフ5長は限界です。救援に出た挙句部下と救助対象を死なせるような無能には
Wow, she's
なりたくありません。
throwing her under the bus.
中隊長殿、志願します。私も救援任務に志願します。
Wow, she
要請、機関には無理だ。
私とて帝国
she threw her under the fucking bus.
任に耐えうると確信します。
5長、
中隊長、どうか行かせてください。
だそうだ、少尉。配慮はわかるが、本人もこう言っているんだ。
了解しました。最善を尽くすところといたします。
レグレチャフ少尉、ありがとうございます。
伍長、本当に覚悟はできている
Are
の
you
か
ready for this? Right?
よろしい。では仕事の時間だ。
She has like a face of a sea lion. Dun, 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 dun.
コマンドポスト、こちらブラボー01。現在敵魔導士の攻撃により短着観測ができない。
Yeah, you're right. At least you can see it in a crowd of faces.
コマンドポストよりブラボー01。現在205魔導中隊が向かっている。403魔導中隊は引き続き観測を継続せよ。
さあ、上は状況を分かっていっているのか。
帝国魔導士は優秀だと聞いていたが、噂も信用できんな。
Are these the Russians?
さっさと残りの観測士を探し出せ。
先ほどから試みていますが、どうやら塹壕に隠れて
Who
い
are the
る。
Republic? Are the Republic going to be the Russians?
怪しい区画ご
I
と
mean, that
飛
look
ばしてし
France.
まえ。
That's France.
しかし、
He looks like the typical Russian guy.
魔力の消耗が。
構わん。最大火力だ。
I was.
各位に通達。友軍加速士はロスト。
なんたることだ。
引き返しますか。
いや、間に合わなかったのはいかんだが、すでに敵の照射圏内。給料分の仕事はせねばなるまい。
我々は単独招待です。敵一個中隊を相手にするなど。
覚悟はできている。そう言ったはずだが、相手は消耗の激しい長距離行軍中。その上、こちらの観測手狩りで火力を消費している。勝算は小さくない。とはいえ、新人を早々に失っては今後の昇進に響くか。機関らはシュワルコフ中尉と合流して援護に当たれ。私が先方で3個小隊を潰す。残りは君たちのものだ。まったくサラリーマンも辛いものだな。
サラリ
我神に祈らん。主よ、祖国を救いたまえ。
Right, let's see how the combat looks.
敵増援とおぼしき魔導反応が急速接近中。
With them, with obviously it being the French, I can imagine them putting them on the horses due to the, they always say that the French, like, oh, the French charged at German tanks on cavalry. But that, interestingly enough, is kind of, it's over exaggerated. There was one battle in particular, I can't remember the name of it, where that was the case. But that was, but I think that was actually in World War II. It was in World War II because horses were still used in World War II because they were so damn effective at being just quicker and more maneuverable. Because you need to think like, but I could imagine them putting them on horses. That just ignore me for that. I can't remember if it was in World War I or World War II. That no, it was in World War II. It was in World War II because it was against Panzer IIIs that they ran at them with cavalry. So them putting them on horses this time, it feels like it's playing into the joke of they're always on horseback. What people don't know is actually by the end of World War One, the French actually had the largest tank count out of any nation in the world. It's really funny.
敵兵目視で確認。距離2000、1800、1600。早い。
血迷ったか。迎撃を言ってや。
French rifles as well, which is cool. Wow. That there with that was a good. That looked great. That light effect. Wow. That is fucking high. Wouldn't be able to breathe at that altitude. It's 12,000 feet, which is 4,000 meters. That you start to lose efficient oxygen levels.
ここは我らが空、我らが故郷。汝らが祖国に不敬をなさば容赦なく排除する。それが我らの使命。
なんて愛国心の強いお方だ。
答えよ。帝国を、我らが祖国を、なぜ諸君らは犯さんと欲す。
遊び足りないのなら鉛のおもちゃをくれてやる。デコイです。
はあ、交渉の余地もなしか。
ふざけやがって。
Please be another decoy. Damn, I was hoping it would be another decoy and it should just be below that one. It just keeps going down. Oh, that's cool.
空間座標把握。各目標の乱数回引き動算出。チャンバーへの魔力重点制御。友軍のゼロ。衝撃に備えよ。主よ、信心なき輩に祖国が侵されるのを救いたまえ。遥か道の果て、我らは約束された地に至らん。
強大な魔力反応。
Detected massive. Yeah, you think?
悪魔か。
That's beautiful art styles. That's really beautiful there.
圧力限界に達した魔力が空気と混合されて起こる拡散魔力爆発だ。衝撃を回避しても燃焼による酸欠と一酸化炭素中毒は避けられまい。援護の必要などなかったな。
Wow.
過酷な戦争の世であれほど頼りになる魔導士官もいまい。
すでに勝敗は決した。投降するならばボルムス陸戦条約により捕虜としての権利を保障する。
Treaty of Worms. I really want to figure out how powerful, like, what's the ceiling? Because at this point, you're thinking, like, why don't they just walk all the way to fucking Paris and just kill everyone? You know? Yeah, like, why don't they just walk here? What can stop them type thing? I want to see how powerful they really are.
に回収された演算宝珠の記録です。このような魔導士一人にあの106中隊が壊滅させられたそうです。当該魔導士の出現が確認されたのは2ヶ月前。詳細は不明のネームドですが、自分における二つ名は
ラインの悪魔か。
ライン戦線への中央本隊の再配置は無事に完了したそうです。
どうにか間に合ったが、専務には随分無理をさせたな。 気にするな。すべては我が国のためだ。
そうはいかん。この借りは秘蔵のワインでどうだ。
あいにく酒は勝利の時まで控えている。
堅物め。レルゲン中さ、何か気になることでも？
いえ、ただ。
Yeah, no, it is pronounced like that though, Soul.
はい。この報告書によれば、
so they're not doing too bad.
ターニャ・デグレチャフ少尉が排除
that's how the British actually spell it as well.
クルストとハラルドが戦死。
大気中の統治下に敵の砲弾が直撃したらしい。残念だな。
そんな小隊長殿はこのことを。
いや、まだだろう。
Why does she have such huge cheeks? They butchered her.
この若さでエースとは驚きだな。
その少尉が何か？
実は召喚は以前デグレチャフ少尉を見かける機会がありました。
She's Russian.
小隊長殿に報告したいことが。
なんだ？
実はクルスト伍長とハラルド伍長が
死んだのか？
どこでそれを？
I killed them.
聞かなくとも自明だろう。動かない統治下など公平にとって格好の的。死にたがっていた奴らにはちょうどよい。
その時の印象を僭越ながら申し上げますと、
まさか小隊長殿はこうなることを承知で。
Go on, just.
あれは幼女の皮をかぶった化け物です。
That was a really good episode. That I really like that. I really like this anime. What I'd really like to know is actually how powerful are these? Like, obviously they've got their own versions of mages, but it seems like she is just so far elevated above everyone else that why doesn't she just fucking start walking towards Paris? Yeah, I mean, she took out that fucking company quite easily. So it's that's what's going through my mind right now. I do really like it. I'd say the one thing that's bothering me a lot is the year. The fact that apparently it's meant to be 10 years after, I can only assume 10 years after the war started. That is probably the most, it's probably more unrealistic than the fucking magic being in the show. It's probably the most unrealistic thing, which is weird. Just because no nation then could have supported that. I mean, every nation was at the brink in 1918, so adding an extra 8 years onto that, 6 years onto that, sorry, is asking a bit much. But either way, it's a really good anime. I really like it. I really like the fact that it improves that it has those tropes of like the French wearing the blue, the French, and they obviously it's quite realistic. The French were using French rifles, which like the Germans were using German rifles. It's nice. It's nice. It's on the perfect balance of they did their research, to put it bluntly, and I like that. Like, obviously it's an anime and we all know it's going to be fiction and like it's going to be unrealistic, this that, and the other, but whether this, that, or the other, they did their research and it's great to see. Yeah, it's really good to see. I mean, after how many years? After 6 years of the war, and they're still on the Rhine border. I mean, like, that's not good or bad for anyone. I mean, it's like, if anything, it's bad for the Germans because they've lost all the progress that they gained at the start of the war. And yeah, yeah. I mean, it seems like everything's still quite normal. Like, the borders after 10 years has stayed pretty much the same. So far we've seen the French and we've seen the the Germans. I'm intrigued to see how it depicts the other nations. Yeah. What a really fun anime this looks like it's going to be. What do you think, Amunet? She doesn't think so. But there we go, guys. If you want to see the unblurred version, it'll be on my Patreon. If you guys want to see my live reactions, they'll be on Twitch. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.